In Japanese folklore, Tsukumogami are proof that even objects can be shaped by the emotions of the humans who own them. According to legend, once an everyday tool, like a lantern, umbrella, or teapot, reaches its 100th year, it can awaken into a living spirit. But this transformation isn't random. It's fueled by the emotional bond between human and object, especially feelings of neglect, resentment, or attachment. An item cherished for decades might awaken with gratitude, but one abandoned or mistreated often stirs with bitterness, ready to take revenge on the hands that once used it. When they come to life, Tsukamagami retain the form of their original object, but twist it into something animated and strange. An umbrella hopping on one leg with a glaring eye, or a teapot sprouting arms and legs. In some stories, they're playful tricksters. In others, they become dangerous, driven by the grudge of being discarded. Their existence is a haunting reminder that the emotions we pour into the things we own don't just fade. They can linger, grow, and one day come walking back to us. In Hindu and Buddhist tradition, Pretas, a Sanskrit word meaning the departed, are the living embodiment of unchecked human craving. In life, their hearts overflowed with greed, selfishness, or obsessive attachment, and when they died, those emotions didn't fade. They consumed the soul, twisting it into something new and tormented. Their appearance tells the whole story. A grotesquely swollen belly that screams for food, thin, stick-like limbs, and a throat so narrow that even a drop of water causes agony. In Hindu belief, a Preta is simply a spirit in transition. But if funeral rites are neglected, or if greed defined their life, they remain restless, unable to move on. In Buddhism, Pretas inhabit one of the 6 realms of rebirth, forced to endure the endless hunger born from their own desires. In East Asian traditions, these hungry ghosts appear during festivals like the Ghost Festival, when the living leave food and water in hopes of easing their torment. Yet the true horror of the Preta isn't just its ghastly form, it's what it represents. Human emotions so strong they survive death itself, reshaping a person into a creature of endless want. They stand as living warnings that desire, left unchecked, doesn't just ruin a life, it can follow you into eternity. In European folklore, the Tulip Fairy is often seen as a gentle guardian spirit, born from one of the purest human emotions, love. The legend tells of lonely gardeners or heartbroken lovers whose deep affection for someone, or for the beauty of life itself, poured into the flowers they tended. That emotion, strong enough to touch the unseen world, would breathe life into a tulip, and from its petals, a fairy would emerge. Unlike many flower spirits, tulip fairies are said to carry the warmth of human devotion, using it to protect the gardens they inhabit and bring joy to those whose hearts are open. But love is not without its thorns. Some tales warn that if the love that birthed them is betrayed or abandoned, the tulip fairy can wither, turning distant or even mischievous toward the unworthy. She becomes a mirror to the heart that created her, thriving when love is cherished, fading when it is forgotten. Her vibrant bloom is a living reminder that emotions are not just felt. They can take form, grow, and, in rare cases, blossom into something magical enough to outlast the human who first felt them. If you enjoy this kind of video, consider liking it and subscribing. It's free, and you can unsubscribe anytime. In Slavic folklore, Rusalki are waterborne spirits often created from raw human sorrow. A woman who died betrayed, murdered, or consumed by unbearable grief can return as a Rusalka. Visually, they're unforgettable. Pale skin, long dripping hair, sometimes described as green or tangled with riverweed, and wet, clinging garments that glint in moonlight. In some tales, they wear wreaths of flowers that rot and tangle with reeds. The word Rusalka, plural Rusalki, is Slavic and tied to old springtime water rituals often called Rusalka Week or Rusalije, rites that tried to placate these spirits. And scholars note the exact linguistic origins are influenced by seasonal festival names and local customs. By night, they haunt lakes, rivers, and marshes, singing or dancing on the water's surface, calling to the living with voices that flicker between sorrow and seduction. In many stories, a betrayed lover or a woman who died in shame will lure lonely men or careless youths to the water, where drowning becomes a tragic echo of the grief that birthed her. But Rusalki are not one-note monsters. Across Slavic lands, they can also be connected to fertility and the life of the spring fields, reminding communities to honor the dead and respect the powerful emotions, betrayal, loss, longing, that can quite literally give birth to something that won't let go. In the chilling legends of the Algonquian peoples, the Wendigo is the embodiment of greed, pushed beyond all limits. Said to emerge when a human gives in to the darkest form of hunger, often cannibalism during times of famine, it becomes a monstrous, unnatural predator. The name Wendigo is believed to come from terms in Cree and Ojibwe that carry meanings like the evil spirit that devours mankind, or the one who lives with insatiable hunger. Its appearance mirrors that meaning, towering and emaciated, its skin stretched tight over bone, lips torn and bloody, eyes glowing with a cold, unnatural light. In some accounts, it reeks of decay, its body frozen like the winter that often drives humans to desperation. What makes the Wendigo so terrifying is that it isn't born from magic or gods. It's born from the ugliest side of human emotion. Greed, desperation, and selfish survival twist the soul into something that is no longer human. The more it eats, the hungrier it becomes, an endless cycle of consumption and want. In Algonquian lore, encountering a Wendigo is as much a spiritual danger as a physical one, for its hunger is contagious, corrupting those who feel it, turning them into the very thing they fear. It's a monstrous reminder that the darkest creatures can be born not from the wilds, but from the depths of the human heart. In European folklore, the poltergeist isn't a ghost in the traditional sense. It's more like raw, chaotic energy made visible. The word itself means noisy spirit in German, but the truth is far stranger. Many old accounts link poltergeist activity not to graveyards or tragic deaths, but to the living, especially people under extreme emotional strain. In countless cases, the disturbances center around a single individual, often a teenager, whose bottled up anger, fear, or frustration bursts outward in ways neither they nor anyone else can control. In this sense, the poltergeist is less a wandering soul and more a violent echo of human emotions given physical form. Their manifestations are the stuff of haunted house legends, objects flying across the room, furniture toppling on its own, unexplained knocks and bangs that seem to come from inside the walls. In older traditions, some saw them as mischievous house spirits lashing out. In modern paranormal studies, they're often described as unconscious psychic storms triggered by a living person's emotional overload. Whatever the cause, one thing remains clear. A poltergeist is born not from death, but from life. Proof that the most terrifying hauntings may be the ones we create ourselves. In Japanese folklore, the Gashadokuro is a towering, skeletal giant born from the darkest depths of human suffering. Its name means starving skeleton, a grim clue to its origins. Standing far taller than any building, its bones rattle like a death march in the night, and its hollow eye sockets burn with an unearthly hunger. Some legends say it's formed from the unburied corpses of those who died in war or famine. Bodies denied peace, their souls fused together into one colossal monstrosity. The Gashadokuro is more than just a giant skeleton. It's a creature forged from the emotions of rage, despair, and resentment. Each soul trapped within it remembers the agony of starvation and the bitterness of dying forgotten. These feelings bind them together, giving the Gashadokuro both its terrifying size and its relentless hunger for the living. Silent until it strikes, it is said to creep up on lone travelers, biting off their heads before drinking their blood. To encounter one is to face the physical shape of grief and vengeance, a nightmare born from the human fear of being left to suffer alone. In Hindu and Buddhist mythology, Apsaras are celestial dancers and singers born from the divine joy and passion. According to the Rigveda and later epics, they first appeared during the churning of the ocean, Samudra Manthan, when the heavens overflowed with beauty, music, and delight. They are the living embodiment of allure, charm, and graceful movement, emotions so potent they took on a form of their own. In Hindu cosmology, they entertain gods and heroes alike, while in Buddhist tradition, they reside in heavenly realms, gliding through the skies to bring bliss to the virtuous. But the beauty of the Absara is not without its edge. Many stories tell of them being sent to the mortal world to seduce sages and warriors, disrupting their focus and pulling them away from spiritual discipline. Their presence stirs desire, infatuation, and even jealousy, emotions that can change destinies. In this way, Apsaras remind us that beauty and passion, while enchanting, can also bind the human heart just as tightly as greed or anger. They are proof that even positive emotions, when overwhelming, can reshape fate itself. In the ancient Zoroastrian faith of Persia, Eshma is wrath made flesh. His very name means rage, and in the sacred Avesta he is feared as the Deva, an evil spirit who feeds on human anger, stoking it into bloodshed and chaos. Known as Eshma of the Bloody Mace, he strides into battles and quarrels, urging humans to abandon Asha, truth and divine order, and embrace Druj, the path of lies and disorder. He doesn't just start wars, he twists the human heart until rage becomes its own master, leaving reason and compassion in ruins. Eshma's influence is so enduring that echoes of his name survive far beyond Persia, reshaping in later Jewish and Christian tradition into the demon Asmodeus. But in his original form, he is not a mere tempter. He is the living embodiment of fury itself, born whenever hatred consumes a soul. Every feud, every grudge, every act of violence is a doorway he can walk through. To the Zoroastrians, he was proof that unchecked wrath is more than a passing feeling. It is a force that can take on a life of its own. Across world mythologies, there are gods who are not eternal rulers of the cosmos, but instead born directly from the raw emotions of humanity. When war breaks out and blood floods the earth, the fear, rage, and desperation of countless mortals can take shape as a war deity, one who embodies the chaos and hunger for victory that gripped the people. In some traditions, the grief of an entire nation mourning its dead has given rise to gods of lamentation or underworld guardians, protectors who emerged because humanity's collective sorrow demanded someone to hear it. These are not distant, aloof creators. They are beings pulled into existence by the concentrated emotional storms of mortals. What makes these gods unique is that they are as mortal in spirit as the people who give them life. They do not exist for all time. Their power ebbs when the emotion that birthed them fades from the world. A god born from war may vanish in an age of peace. A goddess of despair may wither when hope returns to the people. Worshippers pray to them not because they rule the heavens, but because they are born from the same struggles and passions the people themselves feel. They are living mirrors of human emotion, gods who rise and fall with the tides of the human heart. For more videos on mythological races, click the video on the left, and for more mythological content, click the one on the right. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you won't miss future uploads.